Hello everyone, myself Bharadwaj. In this video, I will discuss one simple example which is addition of two counters. Here we have two counters C1 and C2. We have to perform addition of these two counter values. Here we have two problems. The problem one is we have to do this calculation addition of two counters with mathematic block, and the problem 2 is without mathematic block. We already discussed about this mathematic block in the previous videos, so just pause the video here and try to do the addition of two counters. Let's continue to the video, and I will go to the software. First I will take two counters. I will take this up down counter. Okay, and I will connect one input to this count and one more input to the second counter. I will give the name the counter with C1. This is my counter 1, and this is my counter 2. Okay, I'm not using reset direction inputs. If you want, you can connect and check also. Now this counter output is digital output, which I am not using. So I will connect open connector. For simulation purpose, it will work even if you do not connect this connector. Okay. To download this program into the PLC, we have to connect the output either to the digital output or to this open connector. Now I will take the mathematic block. So go to the analog section and take the mathematic instruction block. There is one enable input. So either you have to connect one digital input, or I just want status 1 I will take. Here if you see under digital, we can have status 0, status 1. Okay, I need always this mathematic block to be in on state, enable state. So I just use it high. Now click the plus icon under the C1, counter 1 and counter 2. Similarly, under mathematic instruction block. First give the go to property and comment this is mathematic instruction block, and the output is analog, so I will connect one analog flag also. Okay, now this C1 in this table, the first one is count output. This connector is there, right? I will take this and connect to the P1 of mathematic block, first input of mathematic block. Similarly, for C2 in this table, the count output I will take and I will connect to the P2 of mathematic block. Now I will go to the mathematic block properties, and you have to select the operator. I want C1 plus C2, that is why we have to do the plus, and we can connect maximum 4 parameters here in this properties in this mathematic block. So remaining two parameters, just add 0, 0. If you see, the block 1 is added here and block 2 is added here. That means C1 and C2 count values. Press OK. Now I will go to the simulation. For the I1, go to properties and select momentary push button. And for I2, I will go to the simulation and select momentary push button. Now see, I will press the I1 here one time the counter value is increased by 1 in C1. This 1 is also connected to the mathematic block P1, so it is also updated. Now the mathematic block will do P1 plus P2, addition of P1, P2, P3, P4. P3, P4 are 0, 0, so ignore this. Now I will press I2 also. See, one time, what happened? The counter 2 value also increased by 1. So both this C1 and C2 counter values are updated in mathematic block P1, P2. P1 plus P2, 1 plus 1, that is equal to 2. I am not talking about P3, P4 as they are 0, 0. Okay. Now I will increase I1. I will give the pulses. See, C1 is increasing. Same value will be updated in mathematic block 6 plus 1, 7. Like this, we can do the addition of two counters using mathematic block. Right? Very simple. See, in the counter, I'm not using reset and direction inputs. You can also connect the digital inputs to these C1 and C2 separately, and you can test your logic. Okay. Now, the problem 1 is completed. Now, in problem 2, we have to do the same operation without using mathematic block. So, pause the video here again and try to solve this problem without mathematic block. Now I'll continue the click arrow. So I will come out of the simulation. Now I'll keep this. Now I will take analog multiplexer. So go to analog and select analog multiplexer. I will take two multiplexers. Okay. And if you see one enable is there, so I will just use status high. You can also connect digital input if required. Okay. And S1, S2 I'm not using because I'm using only the first input of multiplexer with. So when S1 is 0, S2 is 0, the first input will be selected by default. So I'm not using. Now what I will do, I will connect the C1 count value in multiplexer 1 first input, and the C2 count value I will connect in second multiplexer first input. So in properties, what I will write, this is my mux with C1 value. Okay. Multiplexer 1 you can simply call with C1 value, and this one I'll call multiplexer with C2 value, counter 1 value, counter 2 value. So for that purpose, what you have to do, under this first multiplexer, click the plus icon. Okay. Now go to C1 and count, just select here and draw a line and connect to P1 of first multiplexer. Now if you see the counter value C1, which is 13 here, is updated in multiplexer 1 P1 parameter 1. Similarly, click the plus symbol of second multiplexer and go to top and connect the C2 count value, which is right now 11. Select here, let us select the wiring. Select here and go to second multiplexer first input, connect. The values are updated if you see, right? The P1 is updated, multiplexer 1. Second multiplexer P1 is also updated. Good. Now what I will do, I will take one analog amplifier block and I will connect C2 to this block. What this block do is, I will go to properties and in gain I will enter -1. go to comment. What I'm doing is I'm taking C2 input. I will multiply with minus 1. So what I will get? I will get minus C2. Okay, this is my output. What is the output of this block? Minus C2. Now I will take one analog comparator block. Okay, I will connect my first multiplexer output to this first input, and the output of this analog amplifier, which is minus C2, I will connect to the second input. Okay, now the output of this analog comparator I'm not using, so I will just simply connect one open connector. Now what is this analog comparator will do? It will compare two values. In this case, what are those two values? The first input is AI1, sorry, the first input is C1 minus, the second input is minus C2. So that is equal to, what is the calculation? C1 plus C2. So it will add these two counter values. Okay. So we will see this. Now go to the simulation. Now all values are 0, 0. I will give increase the counter values. C1 I will give two commands, two inputs. So count value is 2, updated in mathematic block also. Again it is updated in multiplexer 1 also. See 2. Similarly, I will give input 2 3 times, 3 triggers, 3 inputs. The count value of C2 is 3. So C1 is 2, C3, C2 is 3. In mathematic block, if you see 2 and 3 updated, the result is 2 plus 3, 5. This is our method 1. In second method, multiplexer also updated. 2 came in C1 and in C2, 3 came, right? Now, this analog amplifier, what it will do? It will multiply the C2 with minus 1. So, as C2 is 3, the output of this block is minus 3. Okay. Now, analog comparator will do C1 minus C2. So, which in this case it is 2 minus, again minus 3, which is finally 2 plus 3, 5. Okay. This is how we can do the calculation of two counters addition. Addition of two counters with mathematic block, one option. Without mathematic block, second option. If you have any idea or any way to do this addition of two counters using any other blocks, try yourself and share with us through the comment section. Okay. You can also use the reset and direction and inputs in the counters and test your logic. Share with us if you found any other way. Okay. Thank you. I will meet you in the next session.